Today we have some SMK light armor piercing German ammunition from 1939. Let's go to the range. I've tested steel case SMK ammunition, however I have not tested brass case ammunition. Later in the war, the Germans started sticking to steel, but they initially were using brass. So, let's fire 9 rounds and see how they do. $2,580. $2,639. These rounds are a little bit tough to extract, and there is a bit of cratering in the primers. $2,554. That one was a hang fire, 2,545. A really minor hang fire, but a hang fire nonetheless. Okay, let's shoot 5 more rounds. $2,483. I think that one was a hang fire as well. More minor than the first one. $2,573. $2,580. $2,494. $2,545. That one was a hang fire again. So that was our time on the range. Our velocities ranged from 2,483 feet per second to 2,639 feet per second. Our average was 2,555 feet per second. This is a pretty normal velocity for medium ball ammo. Now, I had 3 hang fires out of the 9 rounds that I fired. And that is not necessarily great performance, but these rounds are 85 years old at this point, so it's not necessarily too surprising. I've had other German ammunition perform better, which is a good reminder that the quality of ammunition can be largely dependent on the quality of its storage, more so than its quality of manufacturing. So even if you buy ammo from one place and it works really well, you might buy it from somewhere else and it doesn't work really well, because in the meantime, from its time of production, it wasn't stored somewhere very well. Let's take a close-up look at the boxes and the head stamps. Germany included all of the load data on their boxes, including the factories where individual components came from, even if it's not from the place where the cartridges were assembled. Focusing on the most important details here, we see Patronen, which means cartridges. SMK is an abbreviation for, and I apologize to any German speakers, Spitzgeschoss mit Kern, which means Spitzer with core. These bullets have a hardened steel core, giving them light armor-piercing capabilities, so I'll show you that in a little bit. There's lots of info on here that people can look up, but I'd like to draw your attention to the date, 1939, and the P163 that is right here. That is the factory code that we'll discuss in a little bit. Looking at the head stamps here, open these up. Normally this box would have 15 rounds in it, but I fired some of these for the review. So normally it would be 15 rounds loaded, 5 facing the other direction, and then 5 again. Looking at the head stamp here, 39 is the year of manufacture. That 18 is the lot number. P163 is the factory code, and then I'm pretty sure the S star just means that this round is brass cased. And then you'll also notice the reddish looking sealant around the primer there. There is nothing, however, on the case mouth, and this round does look like it is annealed. P163 indicates that this ammo was made in Scheuenbritzener Metallwaren fabric, or Truenbritzen Metal Factory. Ammunition production began in 1924 with machinery from the Spandau plant that was decommissioned after the Treaty of Versailles after World War I ended. Through the 1930s, the factory expanded, even through the rise of the Nazis, with extra buildings being constructed over the years. While workers were recruited to work voluntarily, forced laborers were also used, including prisoners of war and possibly prisoners from the Sachsenhausen concentration camp. After the war, the machinery was dismantled and taken to the Soviet Union, and in the late 1950s, the building materials and location began being used for raising calves. Now, I brushed over some of the details, but I took much of this information from the website Vers la Sens, and I'll try to remember to include that in a pinned comment down below. Here are some of the bullets, and this is a core from a video I did on some steel-cased SMK ammo that I had, but it should be the exact same bullet design. It is a solid steel core, and then there would be lead wrapped around it, and that is inside of here. There are many steel core rounds, but the SMK ammo has an actual hardened steel core. A lot of steel core ammo is a soft steel core, and that soft steel core is mainly just there to save on lead. This is to actually help in penetrating armor. Our bullets weigh from 177.2 grains to 179.6 grains, which gives us a spread of 2.4 grains and an average of 178.3 grains. The powder all measured between 44.7 and 44.8 grains. The average rounded up to 44.8, and the powder weights were very consistent. This is a flake-style powder. This ammo is really interesting to me. It has a fascinating story from being from a not well-known factory, and even having ties to forced labor and some of the atrocities committed by the Third Reich. Historically, this ammo is fascinating. A part of me is conflicted because at times, steel-cased SMK can be a very affordable way for prepared individuals to have armor-piercing capabilities. But at the same time, these rounds are very historical and still fairly uncommon. So if you're just collecting this ammo, it's also interesting. If you do plan on using this ammo in any serious capacity, my recommendation is to either pull the bullets and reload them, or to make sure you fire a significant number of rounds from the lot that you're planning on shooting. Remember that you can have a wide variation in ammo quality between lots from the same factory and year, just depending on the storage from when it was made to today. Thank you for watching this video, and I am 8mm Mauser Man. I fired German ammunition from World War II, but I lived on. Truenbritzener Metalwaren Fabrik.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.